champions down there.
Yeah.
Even though he can play them maybe, I'm not sure he's like, yes, let me play against Mord. Let me play against Aurelia. I don't know if that's the case.
Well, we get to see right now, and I am very interested in the result. Morgana's going to be banned out first. It looks like they don't want to deal with any black shields on the side of OpTic Academy. So what do you have in mind, boys? A lot of crowd control? Let's see. Here goes Yi as well. They know exactly what they want to ban out, that's for sure.
Yeah, Moon was definitely his best as a carry-oriented jungler, loving that Evelynn and things like that. And so Yi feels like that's a little bit in his wheelhouse. So that will just get safety banned away.
There's the Aurelia. No dashing around this game for Palafox. You'd know to have a very, very good Azir.
Yeah, this is for some of these younger players quite the test because, you know, there's so much to learn about the competitive level beyond just your champion pool. You know, it would have been nice for some of these guys probably to learn the how to play competitive from a mental standpoint and all those things before you have to worry about what the hell is my matchup.
Yeah, right. You got to double down on that escalation of, oh man, this is serious.
Yeah. So Palafox is a guy, like you said, great Azir, pretty good Cassio. And now it's like, oh, by the way, learn how to play Mord. You know, it's an extra layer of difficulty being a new guy in the league. That's
right. That's what you expect. When you live in America, you get a lot of food on your plate, so just put more on their plate. That's all you do. It's regular.
Supersize my workload.
Supersize the workload. Dokla locks in the Ornn. We'll see where that goes, but a strong pickup in the current compositions we've seen.
A little surprising, you know, Dokla also a carry-oriented player more times than not, but I guess they just want to take that away from Max Trobo, who played a fair amount of Ornn last split, if I remember correctly. They hovered the Karthus. It's a little disappointing to see that swap over to Ornn, to be honest.
Yeah, Tarek's still out there, or I should say Nunu still out there. They hovered both. Lulu and Lucian. Lucian been finding himself on quite a few ban lists today. We'll see a little playtime here for Clutch Academy.
Yeah, a little surprised to see OpTic give that one over. Piglet played it yesterday. We know Piglet loves Lucian. We know he's a good Lucian. So this is kind of OpTic showing that they don't care. Because this is not like, oh, we didn't know Piglet was going to play Lucian. This is them saying, yeah, take it. We don't think it's that strong. We'll counter with Kaisa or something and try and run you over.
They will counter with Kaisa or something. Goes all the way through the bans because that's Rakan and Zoe that finished those out. And 2 big damage dealers picked up here.
Yeah, and if this ends up being Xin Zhao, it kind of locks Kaisa out of the Super Kaisa strategy by gold funneling her in the jungle. So that actually will be from this. I was about to say, we're not going to know where the Kaisa's going.
Are we getting a standard game?
Now we know. I mean, there's a tank in the top lane that's not Mundo. This is standard for me.
I don't know how to cast this one. Sun finalizing a pick. Maybe get their jungler in there just to make sure Moon does not get pinched, but decent champion pool, so he may feel comfortable and say, take something else. I'm good to go, guys. 2 seconds left. Braum is on the screen and locked in for Vulcan.
Lucian Braum, no surprise, very popular lane. The double tap of Lucian, proccing that Braum stun very, very quickly. That also indicates a Lulu mid. But you never know. Maybe that's a Braum mid and Lulu bottom, and they're about to see some shenanigans in the jungle.
I know exactly what happened in Clutch's kind of meeting. They're like, so these are the compositions that's happening, and we could pick this and this, and Piglet raises his hand and he says, I have an idea. How about you protect me? I like that. I like that comp.
I mean, that's probably in the realm of reality. I mean, we played Lulu Lucian with Piglet all the time. It's great. Lucian wants to go in there, go hamburgers. Sometimes goes a little 2 hamburgers, and you give him a Lulu ult to protect himself.
There is Singed. So actually, they're taking away a lot of like the nuisance champions from Clutch Academy. They don't want to deal with that. LSR from Clutch banned the OpTic, so they can't initiate with this just ferocious looking team so far. What is their 4 and 5?
You gotta expect, with the Pyke ban, I was about to say another support ban. You have your Braum showing already up in the top side with that Ornn showing, no surprise, OpTic banning out some of the top laners. And like you already said, Singed, massive annoyance. Can try and go for something else out. That is a bit of a melee stomper. Maybe you see the Darius ban. Who knows if Max Trobo is the type of guy to play that, but it's something we've seen a lot of. Instead, going for a jungle ban against Moon.
Yeah, picking the Nocturne out. Interesting.
Seeing a lot of play all across the world, kind of regardless of what comp you're running, it's still something that just seems generally strong right now. So they take that away and force him.
I think it's great. Moves fast, 6 hits, and you're out on the side of the field fighting with an Aurelia in bot lane, right? Who's going to stop that? Not many people when you're blind, buddy.
Hard to TP in and protect your 80 carry.
That's, yeah, exactly. Trundle locked in here, so Moon's going to feel good at least in being able to steal Dokla's resistances. May not want to find Fnatic too early in that jungle, though. Eclipse picking up and Gate for 4 and 5 here. Victor Palafox, yep. Normal pick for him, so it should go well in the mid lane.
And this is interesting to me because Victor was one of those champions that, you know, I was saying might not be the best in the current meta. Great line wave clear, but you want a lot of levels. You're not really looking to skirmish too much early on. Yeah. But he does have some mana fixing in his kit already with his augments. You just, you know, level those up. It fixes some of your mana problems. You get a Sheen or something, and that alone is usually enough because you're going to turn that into Lich Bane. And then you have enough mana to be okay, especially if you're picking up blue buffs. So this will be one of the first times, you know, it's a legitimate control mage in the mid lane. You know, Lulu kind of functions as a control mage, but more supportive. This is a strict control mage we're seeing there.
The Mundo is left up, and it will be picked. I thought it was going to be phase 2 ban for OpTic, but they did choose to hit Moon once again, feeling that Max Trobo not going to do too much on that top side. We'll see what he can provide. He did have a play on Singed yesterday where they already banned him out on, so maybe they feel like they can deal with him.
Yep, I guess so. They also have, you know, with late game insurance kind of against the Mundo, that's always the concern is with so much early game, Mundo's actually okay in the early game, and then he just becomes this meat shield in the late game, and none of the champions that you're picking can deal with him. With the Kai'Sa Victor, you're really not scared of the Mundo. You can handle a Mundo with those two champions. So they have pretty sick late game on the side of OpTic. Ornn is going to go bottom, last second swap there because Camille.
I like it.
Camille's a legitimate bottom lane support champion. We saw Gate break it out a couple of times, and so it was no surprise. Hey, there's Gate on Camille, but they end up swapping it to Ornn.
A little more crowd control on the bottom. You're going to be a tank. I'll be a little bit tankier as well. As we get onto the Rift for game 4 of the day, we get a little bit more rounded out compositions that we're used to seeing from these teams, kind of for the first time here in the Academy split.
And we have, you know, yeah, just two really standard team comps. And so we saw a 40-minute game with non-standard team comps. We could easily be in for a longer game because, like I was saying, I thought one of the things that led to long games was just the distinct lack of wave clear. Last game we saw what happens with the GP able to stall out, and suddenly the game goes late again. Here, Victor easily can stall out a game if they fall behind.
Oh, this is so Season 1, the 5-man bushwhack. I love it. You hug the walls, you get the crawl going, and you move as a team. There's basically nothing that can stop this unless the other team was basically waiting with 5. Just one thing that can stop it. And usually you're not set up for it. So pressure gained here. Let's see how they use it.
Yeah, back in the day, people often fought over this stuff. People got a little smarter, realized, I don't want to fight Braum level 1. We're going to go mirror the invade. So you saw OpTic go in that top side, drop some wards down for themselves, the safer strategy that allows you to basically be doing the same thing without the risk.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even say to mention what champions they had. That's just a disgusting level 1 composition. Clutch Academy. Yeah, pillars, glitter lance if you want to even take the pillar. Let's start off and get help in the jungle. Ah, face to face. Tag him.
Ooh,
rub the glitter all over him. Gosh, they just went down to half HP. I love it. Aggression between Palafox and Sun to start things off. That'll be a quick potion chug on each side, and we are off and running.
Sad boys. Palafox running the Airy instead of the fleet footwork.
Oh.
Saw a handful of nerfs. Did get some buffs to its AP ratio, but even then its early game was weaker, and it was a thing that, despite how much people liked the late game, oh my god, 150 heal, it was much more about sustaining up in the early game, and with that nerfed, the Airy has become the choice.
Good stun lock.
Got the
skin burst.
Got the plasma passive.
It's like you tag them and tear their skin apart. Yeah. Plasma passive is much cleaner. I like it. We hit up on Scuttle. Fnatic quick on that as Shinzao can fly through the Scuttle Crab back to his blue buff. It looks like they're off and running. Moon low on mana as he is pushing himself down towards the Krug side to make sure the push is all right for his team.
And small thing to note, Moon actually grabbed a pink ward, I believe, with his first gold and was able to drop that down the bot side. So there's going to be a pink ward near that red buff to catch that Xin Zhao's early movements. Pretty interesting to see him do that. Xin Zhao, most terrifying, like we said, in the early levels. They wanted to make sure to protect Piglet. Piglet, super aggressive player, gonna be fighting level 1. You saw them go for that trade. If Xin is cheesing you level 2, you're terrified of it. So really cool to see, you know, Clutch showing how to protect their players'
Yeah.
playstyles.
And the warding is too, so much goes into it. You kind of think of, who is this guy? What's the least taken path? Usually it is under that red. You have no camps behind it. There's no flowers or blooms, scryers, blooms to be hit. So it's like that ward could last a long time, or Fnatic could just walk into the brush. I'm going to keep an eye on it and see how long it does last. Very interesting placement just to start things off. But you're right, it is to keep Piglet safe and get Piglet huge. So far doing all right. A few CS as you see that next wave meet together. So they have a bit of an advantage over the Kai'Sa Ornn lane. Not going to mean too much just yet until they can make that a level discrepancy.
Yeah, I mean, Lucian obviously very strong at almost all points of the laning phase, but needs a couple more items to really start pushing this Kai'Sa in aggressively. It's a matchup that's pretty good for the Lucian, but not going to completely run your face over. Otherwise, they probably would not have picked the Kai'Sa into it.
Dokla walking past the minions. That's going to alert Max Trobo slightly as Dokla holds, and he actually forces the flash on a Max Trobo there. I like it. Probably would have gotten it either way, but plays it cheekily.
And nice job not ending up under the turret. Allows him to stay healthy while still getting that flash out.
Yeah.
Fnatic gets dinged once, but he's a jungler, not too big of a deal.
Moon, more wards. It's all about bot lane safety. Also stealing away Fnatic. Oh, Fnatic's jungle. He may be able to see this quite soon, though. Says, big one for me, and it may have that timing very well done. Damage onto Piglet as they try to turn on Negate. The passive is already proc, so he's not going to get a secondary one on that. The Moon may find a trailer. I think they saw him on the bot side of the minions. Yeah, definitely creeped in. And those caster minions saw him on the wave. Rotation from mid alerts everyone of that, as well as their comms. They get out safely.
Yep, there's also the fact that they have wards. They know Xin Zhao is trailing the play, don't want to get stuck underneath that turret, have things not work out. So they back off that. Just going to let Piglet continue to try and grind out some advantages by himself in the 2v2. And Moon returns to those Raptors, wants a couple more of those chickens.
Like, I'll finish him, sorry. No problem.
You say what happened to his pink ward? Did they get cleared out? I stopped watching.
Yeah.
Oh.
Gone.
Still a cool idea.
I liked it. It was clean.
The observers are hovering that pink ward. Are they suggesting that that is a
replace?
It maybe was a replace. I'm not sure. The world may never know unless a producer gets in my ears and tells me.
The things we need to know, though, you know? It's like maybe we just have a replay for warts.
Well, there's no... I blame the teams. Where's the crazy... There's no crazy picks here. This is standard. I don't need to speculate on anything, you know? I mean, I guess Ornn support is cool.
It is true.
Not the best support.
I feel like for Gate, less so, because you expect that from Gate.
Yeah, oh, here, you got the replay you requested. It is a replace.
Boom! So they choose to deny Piglet a bit of vision and then to give it to Sun. So you see where that priority goes to. Amazing. Amazing logic.
Wow. Take me deeper, Riv.
Awesome observers. You guys kick ass. Thank you so much. That was cool. So now we know that obviously the vision is for mostly the bot side of the map. It is being focused there and stays there. Dragon could be something, but as a Cloud Drake, maybe after the mountain, not so much focus. Moon at 44 to 35 in that jungle, though, as he keeps himself up and running. Spot lane 57 to 45. A little more separation as these waves keep hitting.
Yeah, and Kai'Sa having going with the attack speed boots. I'll be really interested to see what the Kai'Sa goes, because one of the build paths that have emerged for some of these bot laner marksmen with AP ratios is they actually go Ginsu's into Nashor's Tooth. Varus does the same thing sometimes, and then they go Death Cap to finish it off. And it goes for a stronger 2-item power spike than they could have gotten with an AD build, because you know, if you go Hurricane or something like that, you're lacking just some of the raw damage numbers. So those can imply those on-hit effects that both those champions have. So we'll have to see what this Kai'Sa chooses to go with. Also, the Doran's Ring Start, very popular now. For very similar reasons as the Jhin, another marksman champion that started Doran's Ring.
Ooh.
Uh-oh.
This actually may sway the lane a little bit as Piglet gets forced out for a few of the minions. It's not enough cleanup for Eclipse there. I thought that fight was going to go a bit differently. Piglet gets himself to safety as Gate takes damage, pushing him out. Top lane love from Moon, just seeing, hey, made Dokla go aggressive. I'm looking for a Fnatic right now, but he is not in range.
Well, might be baiting it, but not really much room to play with.
Oh, goes in for the grand challenge. Oh, gotta get the last attack in, forces his flash for it, and he's gonna go down in the end. Picks himself up a kill, but won't be able to teleport back. Moon grabs the ending.
Yeah, Dokla, nice play there, the trade 1-for-1. Could have flashed out and tried to just live, but with no TP available, probably would have got forced out, would have lost the minion wave. So actually goes for the trade kill. Taking another look at this, Max Turbo baiting a little too hard. Like you said, they're probably looking for Fnatic, but then they just get this fight forced. I'm surprised to see Dokla run down and then flash back in. I don't know why you couldn't have just followed him up to that top side and kept autoing him.
Yeah.
A little bit of a curious decision there that cost him his flash.
One last bite. He's like, Moon's gonna eat me up. Gotta get there quicker. So 1 for Moon now. They've been waiting to get something on the board here for Clutch Gaming. And that is going to be Dokla. So solo kill for him as they trade with Max Trobo and Moon. Blue buff over to Palafox here. Good guy, Fnatic. Getting that blue into the mid lane. He can start scaling himself up. No real items for him, as we just said. It would be those augment upgrades for Palafox. He spends the money on himself.
And greedy boy.
Greedy boy. Just about 10 minutes in. So much less action for all of these lanes. Yeah, there is fighting, but everybody's getting away with their lives because of, we were saying, they're not melee. They have that separation. You know when too far is too far a little bit more in the ranged matchup.
Yeah, these are matchups that you also probably have played more often.
Yeah, you're familiar with what's happening.
While Lulu and Victor weren't always meta at the same times, I guarantee you've played more matchups of that than Victor versus Elliot or something else. So much the same way, you know, Braum Lucian is a lane that's been around forever, basically, and so maybe you're not quite as familiar against Ornn and Kai'Sa, but, you know, Ornn doesn't have the ability to just open up a fight at level 3 quite the way Brand Soraka was able to.
So true. I never thought I'd hear you say that.
Yeah.
Interesting words that come out of our sentences out of our mouth in these metas. Slow pushing on that cannon wave. Piglet and Vulcan feeling pretty good of where they have that lane set up for now. If they want to draw the pressure from Fnatic or keep it, looks like they're going to back for the time being. Teleport's just about to come up for Piglet, so he feels good about leaving any minions in that lane. And Moon, Dokla's saying, you know what, man? I've been having a good top side. You better bring some pressure with that, because I have Fnatic coming as well as Palafox having the inner line on that 3v2 situation. Dokla gets grand challenge back, instantly issues that challenge to Sun. Max Trobo enters the fight with his ultimate on. Dokla now realizing they've bitten off a little more than they can chew. Wow, Fnatic choosing to go in to get the heal for himself at a sliver of health. The right choice and an amazing choice by all of the OpTic members.
That was a super clean skirmish by both teams.
Yeah.
Piglet showing up a little late, making sure they can't take this Rift Herald, but there were some really fantastic plays in there. Moon interrupting the dash on Fnatic with the Pillar, and just Palafox playing that one very careful from the back line, getting a big ultimate off. Taking another look at this,
again.
Just way too aggressive. You know, they knew that they were collapsing. Dokla starts off on the Sun. There's that interrupt to keep Sun alive for longer. The ult knockback on Moon, as well as Sun getting his own ult, was great. Dokla disengages, but now Palafox shows up with his ult. Fnatic staying alive just enough, then starts getting the heal up from the runes, and Moon trying to run away, but no way out. Ends up a 3-for-0 despite both teams playing that very well.
A very dangerous game being played.
Oh yeah.
Holy moly. I love that. Just love to see it in players, though. You think you're going down to as much damage as you can. Dive right into that fight. The Fnatic knew to keep himself alive as well if he could get the damage and the kills. Dokla getting pushed off, culling to drop the minions out. Piglet looks like he really, really wants this turret. His bot's going down. They're going to try to trade simultaneously. And it looks like OpTic a little bit faster on that clip, and they'll be able to pressure more of the map. 3 members still towards that bot side. Top doesn't even go down yet, and that's actually really big for OpTic. Clutch is going to try to switch this around with another Rift Herald. Uh-oh, though.
Uh-oh, indeed.
It's 4v2.
Ornn and Fnatic are starting to make their way up there, but they're too far away, really, for OpTic to start this fight off and then wait for the backup to show up. Overall, like the trade for Clutch Gaming.
Yeah.
You know, that skirmish went really bad for them, but there's only a Cloud Drake on the bot side. Maybe not worth it if they're going to take significant damage on their mid lane, though. Half HP, a little more. Hard to say if it's worth it.
Yeah.
I like the idea, trading your bot lane turret out for top lane and Rift Herald. They did not get the top lane turret. The enemy team didn't go for the Cloud Drake, instead taking the chip damage on that mid lane to maybe be able to drop it easier later.
A little setup and prep. The return to drop it down. See Piglet. Blade of the Rune King Sark. See what else he gets in his inventory.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what the second item on Lucian's are these days. Right when the patch hit, everyone's going Essence Reaver, some of them even trying it first.
Yeah.
Won't deny how good it feels to dash non-stop, but the Black Cleaver, is pretty good, especially with not much armor. You know, it can help with that. It's hard to say which one's going to be better. I personally like watching the Essence Reaver. Hopefully we get to see that. Just from a purely like entertainment perspective.
Rage Blade finished up. I think we all want to see the Essence Reaper. There's like highlight videos everywhere of it. Let's see one for the entirety of the game right now. Piglet 0-0-0, so really doesn't have any escalation in getting those core items for himself. Wow, Chaos Storm goes down. Palafox says the team is here. A 3-man knockup? No, only a 2, but he does get Brittle on all 3 so they can get that extra damage down. A little bit of a misfocus here. You have Vulcan going down, Moon going down, Gate finally changes, and they don't drop anybody. I'd say that's an error from OpTic coming into the fight. They try to get back onto Sun. Eclipse makes the Acathian Rain come down, but they say, here's Shelly, bringing it to the party. And now they're going to get everything in the bot lane along with that kill on Gate and his summoner spells. And
now you're going to see the investment in that Rift Herald paying off, able to start taking this down. Palafox, nice idea to try and bait that, but was just a little bit too far forward. So even though he chunked out Piglet and Vulcan to start it off, he had the Braum passive applied to him, gets taken down. And once your Victor's dead, even though you have the Kaisa TPing in, was not actually able to pick up a kill. Maybe could have taken an ult onto a target further away.
Let's see it again.
Yeah, I have to see this. So Palafox, interesting decision to just drop that damage right there, but he continues to walk up, and that's where it's just too far. It allows the Braum to W to a minion to apply the passive, the Ornn not doing enough. And then here, you're going to see that there's a stack right on Vulcan. Maybe he could have taken it. Tries to snipe him with the W and doesn't do that. Either way, it might have been too deep if he did that because Sun had come in for reinforcements. Everyone's low. They're not able to find any kills.
That feels bad. A lot of those fights as well, in the end, they make you take that extra step. That extra step that costs you your life because you blew your flash on the last fight. They get crazy. There's only speculation that more will happen, but the way Clutch Gaming is playing, they are kind of micromanaging each other in and out for those little bits of damage, getting the last shield from Sun or something at that time, and it's becoming hard for OpTic to solidify the kills. Clutch now getting that Drake, as well as bringing the scoreline much closer with now an even set of gold and turrets.
Yep, even in the game out for the most part. Piglet also picking up the Caulfields. You know what that means? Going the Essence Reaver, baby.
That he is. I like it. Piglet's also the playmaker, though. He wants to be in the middle of that fight doing as much as he can, and Lucian only does more damage when he's hitting those shots. He's getting those cooldowns. Woo! Right in, right out. Very fast here from Eclipse as he gets himself to safety. Nicely done. Kick him in the buns. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Says Dokla. Max Trobo's going to go down on this one. Flashes over the wall very nicely. He's going to be the extended run.
Oh,
and
the
he
TP out.
teleports out. Very nicely done. I am incorrect.
Both teams forcing plays on the opposite sides of the map. Both of them getting flashes, but not much else. Piglet does get some time alone on this turret with the Trundle to start working it down. Might be able to grab this one as no one on OpTic is in position quite yet to react.
Oh, Frozen Domain feels so good for Trundle as you get into the late game. I like it.
Dokla, though, does have this time up in the top side. He's going to get some more gold for himself. And Mundo, very, very tanky. Not quite sure, you know, late game if Camille's going to be able to chunk him out, even with that true damage to sustain so large. He's probably going to have to go in Executioner's Calling, but there's none on OpTic yet.
It's definitely different. You have to coordinate your positioning much more. We saw this matchup between Gangplank and the Mundo last time. And Gangplank, you kind of put your barrel anywhere. You're situating yourself as a Camille, and that does not help against the Mundo. So definitely a different matchup. Yeah,
we saw the Camille and the Nocturne struggle against the Mundo with CLG, able to win that 2v1. But they had no Executioner's Calling.
True.
I know it's not an item that really fits nicely into Camille's build path, but
yeah,
sometimes you just got to bite the bullet.
Somebody has to, you're right. Or the Morello, somewhere, boys.
Someone's got to get it.
Feels bad.
Kaisa grabbing that Stinger is looking like it's going to be that AP build. We'll turn that into a Gnasher's Tooth. So if you haven't seen that, a lot more damage from the hopping of your Plasma, because it actually has AP scaling for stacking it, as well as your W doing a ton of damage. It's a pretty interesting build overall and very, very powerful.
It's one of those builds that takes you by surprise. You know, when you can do damage like that, I feel like there's more outplay ability to a champion. You know, kind of the deepness you can take, figuring out what you can do and just how far you can go. I love it. Yeah. Kind of like a brand. Right? You do that burst damage, but you don't have an escape.
Yeah. Kaisa at least can kind of stealth around, go invisible, and things like that.
I just like to talk about Brand. I'll try to relate anything to him. It's all right.
Man, that Mundo is just like Brand. They have percent magic.
Look at the red abilities. Brand has red abilities. Looks like everybody's converging on the mid a little bit here, except for the mid laners. Now, Sun towards that top side, along with Palafox, and you're starting to get the split from the side. So the 1-3-1 coming in. But it looks like they'll kind of go away from that immediately, even with the pressure coming in.
Yeah, I think you would expect Palafox to be the one in the mid lane dealing with that wave clear, but then it makes a bit of a strange situation where you have to be worried about this pressure that you see Vulcan and Moon invading on. If it's just a Victor under the turret alone, you think he's a lot more susceptible to dives than that Kaisa-Ornn combination, so they're matching that dual lane in the mid lane, even though Victor is the one who would want to be there the most.
Yeah. Give him his solo gold. Let him sit on the outside.
Going to Rylai's, interestingly enough, not an item that as many people have been going after the nerfs came in. A lot of people would have expected to see the Lunans maybe, or one of those items, but Rylai is still going to be pretty good with his ult. Apply that slow over and over again. We'll probably still end up going with the Lich Bane. So. And there's the Essence Reaver complete.
Yeah, we'll see if Piglet can start doing the damage. We haven't really seen the kind of Raise the Piglet composition come together. There's been a lot of craziness going on. They have been down there to help him out. Unfortunately, he only has the 2 assists that helped him capitalize on getting a few more items. But still, the 5v5 yet to really come to fruition here when we see everybody go all out. You were mentioning that Rylai's for Palafox. That composition, if they can slow somebody, take out one person, a 5v4 for OpTic's team means you are getting deleted. That next person's gone.
Yeah, I think
they can start that fight, holy moly, on their own terms. That'll be bad.
Yes. It's really good, just like due to the range. Mundo's going to run at you, Trundle's going to run at you.
Yeah.
Lucian, relatively low range, does have all the dashes.
This was quickly called as Dokla came on the side. They don't actually get a good horn back as it was blocked in from Vulcan on the rear.
Oh man, Piglet ulted. Not going to be able to dash around like crazy with the Essence Reaver. If people are unfamiliar with what the changes were to Essence Reaver, probably worth going over those. Previously, it would give you cooldown reduction based off your crit chance. They've taken the crit off of it, and they've added a passive called Essence Flare, I believe, which whenever you ult, it makes it so that your auto attacks from then on will reduce the cooldowns of your non-ultimate abilities.
Yeah.
So,
which already happens.
Which already happens with Lucian's E. So what this means for him, you double tap, both those count as separate passes for the Essence Flare, reduces it very quickly. So you E, double tap Q, double tap E, double tap W, double tap, blah, 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 just non-stop craziness.
Your pursuit is relentless.
Yes, it is very relentless.
Yes, being relentless pursuit.
So keep your eye out if you were not familiar what Essence Reaver does now. After ulting, it basically means Piglet can go crazy.
Drake control for Clutch Gaming. The mountains as well are going to be huge if they can start getting any of these side laners to the turrets. Max Trobo on Mundo and Sun on Lulu. Not the greatest turret takers, but that'll help ever so slightly here. Dokla 2-1-1. Triforce finished. Looking to get that Titanic next to do some more damage.
Titanic kind of indicating that they're expecting this to be more of a team fight game. Like I was saying, I'm not sure if Camille ever gets to the point where she's diving a Mundo into the turret very easily. So looks like she's not going for that Ravenous Hydra, which is pretty common when you believe you can win that 1v1. Mundo has too much regen for her to chip out and then heal off the wave. And then, like I said, if you don't have the all-in threat, then you're probably going to need to teamfight to win this game. So, looks like Dokla has that kind of game plan in mind. Plus, with the Kaisa and Victor, you probably have better team fights anyway, so being a good frontliner for them is worth the investment.
This will be good for Dokla as well. Have some time on the LCS stage this week as these games come up. So getting as much practice in as he can on some aggressive champions. Make sure he can make an impact. Right now playing quite well for the team, but across the board, they've only not been able to get anything into the hands of Eclipse. Also good that he's been staying safe, but would love to be able to compete with Piglet as the time comes. Kaisa does need to get those items to scale well. Keep that damage coming through. So far, so good. If you can get that Rage Blade stacked, it's still going to sting.
Oh, yeah. That is a pretty impressive item with her passive.
Oh.
Start getting way more applications of the Plasma down. And like we said, the Plasma has an AP ratio in it, so it's super good. That combined with Nashor's Tooth, applying that passive twice as well.
Twice as nice.
Twice as nice indeed.
Zeke's Convergence, there's a Knight's Vow, so it looks like everything could be handed to Piglet now. I did see that Knight's Vow was there. I haven't seen where Moon through his utility. Holy macaroni. So he's taking them. I'm actually interested in what happened in this fight. Plasma goes down, procs, but he's still healing, and they take him down in the end. The repetitive damage is enough to drop Max Trobo. His flash is down 40 seconds before he can teleport back into the fight. A blocked Brahmo. That does mean that Vulcan's shield is turned the other way, and he can go down immediately. Smite goes down, and that goes to Clutch Gaming as they grab Baron. Moon comes up absolutely huge as the team says this is the time to separate from the fight and take what we got.
Crazy fight by Clutch Gaming there. They had to force the Baron down because their top laner got killed. If they don't force the Baron, the enemy team's just going to go and take the inhib.
Yep.
However,
they just might.
They might still get that, you're right. Dokla still working down on that one. Did not choose to TP into that fight or recall or anything. Has to be careful because the Baron recall allows them to get back faster, but they're grabbing turrets all over the map. They already grabbed one mid, going to grab two mid off of that. Great play by OpTic overall. Felt like Clutch maybe tunneled a little too hard on finishing that Baron. Maybe they could have just turned off and taken the fight. Hard to say. Either way, a trade of objectives. And it's going to start off. I saw this fight start. I was like, this doesn't look too good for you, Dokla.
Yeah.
But Kaisa was trailing the play behind, was able to follow up.
That's crazy.
And with that, they're able to get the first damage down onto him, finish him off. Here's where Piglet, you're watching, he's going to dash into the backside of the pit and not really be able to get onto Palafox at all. It's good that he backs up initially to get away from that AoE damage, but now he's kind of just stuck getting hit by the Baron and training off of it. So they do grab the Baron. Thank God, because Fnatic was in a chance to steal that one away.
Yeah.
But now Piglet can't get out of the pit. He's going to get killed. Moon's going to get killed. Sun going to have to lose his flash to get out. You wonder if after the initial damage that the Victor dropped, could they have turned off? Hard to say.
Everybody in a sliver of health, and they still remember that smite needs to happen. Great job. Clutch Gaming has the Baron. They feel like they can make some moves here, but I believe just be that bot lane here. We see Piglet and Vulcan with that Baron on them. Sun is going to make his way towards the top side to try and spread a bit of this pressure thin. Try to call at least one more person over.
Yeah, they did get the flash out of Eclipse, though, which can limit Kaisa's aggression. Loves to take that ultimate in.
Yeah.
Stealth, flash around, makes her very difficult to pin down in some of these team fights. And without that flash, limits her options pretty significantly. And Vulcan just using this Baron buff to rotate between the mid and top lane, grabbing these turrets for themselves.
It looks like they've said we can hold this, or they know they're only going to take one. Dokla bottom is going to keep pushing in. The open inhibitor is definitely pressuring Clutch more than they would want, and they're going to have to respect it.
So you see the Lulu recalling to go back, handle him. I'm not sure that's who you really want. I hope to send the Mundo down there. Maybe without a turret behind him, though, that play might be huge for Dokla because he can potentially try and ignore the Mundo a little bit. Hard to say. Did pick up the Executioner's calling, though, so maybe has the ability to start chunking them out, actually finding some kills on him. Acquired the Kaisa's help last time.
I like that a lot. Kind of seeing how each team is fitting a few globals into these fights. Oh, the tickling! Just missing. Piglet, so close.
There's so much wind on my back.
What is this? Very interesting for the ult to be down. They're going to wait for that on the next fight, so that'll temper any engages coming in here. One thing I wanted to point out is they have noticed, and this doesn't happen every time, just the past few fights, Vulcan is blocking the backwards part of the Ornn Forge God ultimate. This leaves him open. During the collegiate games, we saw this be the bane of a team that would just then throw the Ornn ult out, blow up the Braum because he has no shield facing them, and take the entire fight. I feel like that could start becoming a thing for OpTic, the way Gates have been throwing these ults out, looking for Vulcan.
Right, I mean, you can look at that Baron situation. I believe it's pretty much the same way where he ults backwards and then Palafox just runs in and drops his damage down. You know, it's interesting back and forth that has happened with that. First, when Ornn comes out, it's like, oh my god, this is broken. Braum gets picked as a bit of a soft counter in the off, you know, in a different position than him. And then you can stop his crazy long-range engage. But if you have other forms of engage and other ways to start a fight, like a Camille and a Xin Zhao jumping in, suddenly your Ornn is not blocking the follow-up damage from the Kai'Sa and the Victor, because that's something that would happen normally. Your divers go in, Braum splits the fight, puts the shield up so the backline damage can't meet the front line. He plays this kind of stopgap in a team fight, but if it, like you said, his shield's down the wrong way, that's great. You know, that's such an annoying ability that now Palafox and Eclipse don't need to worry about.
Absolutely, definitely getting something out of it, even though you might feel like you're losing the Forge God. 7-3 here, coming up on 30 minutes. Again, another 3 Mountain Drakes. Drake's really pressuring a bit of the tempo in these games today, as the teams want those, knowing that they have to siege up quite soon. And now it's going to be the pressure for Clutch Gaming, saying with that inhibit open, we need to make a mark in some of these lanes. Last few items being built up, a breather here as they come out of base with enough pink wards to fight for an area and hopefully take that fight in their favor. OpTic holding off nicely. They're kind of, I feel like they're in a position to take a fight and run away with it, though.
Yeah, this is a very close game coming up on 30 minutes. Baron coming up in another minute and a half. You talk about the Triple Mountain Dragon and all those pink wards. It feels like we're on a collision course for a Baron fight. And with how these two team comps interact, it's very difficult to say what's going to happen because so much is in the Piglet basket that if Palafox and Eclipse are dropping all their damage onto Mundo, maybe that still wins for Clutch Gaming. But at the same time, Mundo will lose his healing reduction a little bit if Dokla is hitting him, and then, you know, Victor and Kai'Sa are so much better damage in the late game that maybe it doesn't matter they're hitting the Mundo. This is going to be a very execution-focused game plan from here.
They want it.
It's risky.
The thing is it looks good. It doesn't mean you take it. Still need to be able to execute on everything. And there, they kind of pull the trigger. No, it'll be for pressure, and they do open up mid-turret. So Clutch Gaming is on the forefront here of trying to make things happen and knowing Dokla is trying to keep pulling them over with that yo-yo pressure. It's just not working now.
You see how large that shield is on Piglet. He has the overheal from his runes. He's got, you know, the Airy and the help picks. You got Guardian from the Braum. Get used to this. Is the last time you're seeing, you know, the Lulu shield be able to get thrown on an 80 carry and watch him go crazy. After this patch, that's getting nerfed. So this might be one of the last times you see a Protect the Lucian kind of comp come out. And you see why a little bit. A little 600 permanent shield almost on Piglet.
It's crazy.
All those pink wards doing a lot of work for them. Nice scout out.
Very clean.
This is they're under a fair amount of pressure now because they lost mid priority, and Dokla is pushing. Mundo's down. They basically have to hard commit to this Baron now.
This is the pull your hair out moment. When you feel like you gained a little bit of ground, but you look once again and the mini-map shows that you are not in favor of map control. Clutch Gaming does grab Baron. That goes over to Moon. Forge God comes through. Gonna hit up Vulcan. He gets himself to safety a bit. Oh no, he's going down. Eclipse comes in. Now on the game. There's the double kill. Dokla's in the base already. And OpTic is going to find the fight that they wanted. They're in the base. Dokla's been doing work, taking it down himself. And he's only stopped for a moment as he takes a breather to take down Gate. The Nexus falls, and OpTic Academy takes victory over Clutch Gaming.
I thought we were about to be in for a lengthy game. That Baron force looked all right from Clutch Gaming. They get the Baron. I think they're all about to get recalls and stop Dokla, but Palafox has a huge interrupt and kill onto Piglet, and after that, no one on that team really has the strength to stop that, as well as the fact that Kai'Sa can TP in. So, you know, it was a risky call a little bit, and it got punished very hard by OpTic.
OpTic Academy now 2-0 to start things off, feeling very nice with a few changes on that roster. And to see what they did today, kind of composition normal, composition not normal the day before, they seem like they're feeling this.
Yeah, and I think this is a really cool game to come in after so many crazy games to be like, listen, two standard comps still work fine. I mean, you do have a little bit of a unique build path with the Kai'Sa or whatever, but overall, this is as standard as standard gets. And the team who understands the macro in the late game is the one who's able to win. The split pushing Camille forces a difficult decision out of clutch that gets punished.
Every time, and that's really what it came down to, is the backdoor, knowing that you had somebody on the side lane all the time. We've been there. We've been in that game. You're pulling your hair out because you think you have the lead, and you look down into the minimap.
And I understand what Clutch is thinking. Like, with no turret there, can the Mundo really stop a Camille from doing this? Most likely not. So they're going to say, let's burn this down. We have triple Mountain Drake, and let's just recall out. And they're able to get out. No one's dead yet. Moon's kind of just in there. Maybe he'll end up dropping. And Piglet tries to go for a really greedy recall that Palafox is able to stop. They drop the pink ward right on top of him to see him recalling in there. And once he's dead, that's it. Camille's already, basically at the point where she might have won the game anyways, but with no Piglet there and Kai'Sa joining in, absolutely no way they don't win this game. And there you go. People are concerned that Macro's dead. Look at that. That was 100% good decision-making in Macro out of OpTic to get that game closed out so quickly in what looked like a pretty even game situation.
Absolutely. I think the macro part of being able to participate in the macro is huge. Having that gangplank on the map, having a Kai'Sa that can go across the map. We've kind of seen it falter with Nocturne a bit. That's not always the best initiation. He can go down and that you kind of put a composition around that. But being able to get anywhere on the map immediately in this current type of gameplay is huge. And that's not just a teleport. It's these abilities that are getting you there.
Yeah, absolutely. There's so many different tools in the game right now. Kai'Sa with TP, a lot of marksmen and AD carries and bot lane carries are taking TP now. And having to worry about a marksman who are usually the best at ending games teleporting to your split pusher is super concerning and something people are going to have to start factoring in.
I have to see what teams do about it. To hear more about that victory, I'd like to welcome Gate to the broadcast via Skype. Gate, congratulations on the 2-0 so far. And how are you feeling about everything, man?
Hello, yeah, it feels great. 2-0 week started off. Couldn't be better, right?
So how do you feel just about the meta? It feels like it's pretty broken open, and you were a guy who was not afraid to try and break the meta even before this happened. So how are you enjoying it? And then how does the rest of your team feel as well?
Well, first of all, me personally, I love how there's like all these weird picks. The only role I guess I feel bad about is AD carries, because not every AD has like a champion Ocean that can play like a lot of these non-marksmen. They've been playing marksmen for years, so I appreciate all the ADs that are like trying their best to fit in.
But you have this huge champion pool. Doesn't it feel good to finally like look at those guys who've been playing marksman for their whole life and be like, now you see what it's like as a support player / mid lane / I've played a million positions. Now you know how it feels.
Yeah. Now they know, the value of it, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, like even I think Eclipse, he's playing that Ornn too. I feel pretty good about it like the day before. I just think like when you get things like double bruiser, it feels great to be the support because there's like 2 relic shields. I'm really rich. Like I don't have to babysit any AD carries. It's just a really nice and fast game.
How's everybody feeling in kind of the OpTic Academy house? You guys are starting 2-0. Is everybody just gelling very well with a bit of the changes in the roster?
I would say so. Personally, I'm having a great time with my new teammates, and I feel like I feel really a part of OpTic so far. Everyone's been really friendly, so I think we're off to a good start too.
Speaking about this game specifically a little bit, ended with a pretty crazy backdoor. I think the largest gold lead people had was around 2,500, so not quite what we're used to seeing in the meta. Walk me through kind of the macro decision, because this is something that feels like we don't see as many macro plays in the game. So walk me through that one from your perspective.
Okay, I think this game, I could feel that they felt a lot of pressure from our Camille splitting. So out of both the Baron situations, they really have to make a tough call in rushing it down. And, I think if either of the Barons were stolen by us, because it was a 50-50, we would end right away. So both of our choices to contest the Baron like 4v5 are like, I would say they're good decisions, and it's like pretty much on them to like outplay us and like back in time. So it's like really hard from their side, in my opinion.
Right on. And Gate, final question, with all this crazy stuff happening right now, there's so many things to think about. What kind of for you are your goals this split? What are you looking forward to?
Well, since I'm playing Academy right now, my goal, I guess, for the immediate future is to get some starting time for the LCS position. But as it is right now, I'm pretty happy. Like, I'm enjoying my team right now, and it is what it is. I'm going to try to get as many wins in Academy as possible.
I like it. That's the best way to go about it, man. It's been great to see you. Hope to as well see you on the LCS stage. It's always a pleasure, and best of luck in the future.
Thank you.
So we've got one more game for your viewing pleasure. That's right. We just sit here not happy. When we return from the break, we'll close out the night with TSM Academy versus TLA. Don't go anywhere.